The concept of church usually is too dividing in our mind. American church, foreign church. It's real that there are different denominations. But above all, Jesus Christ planted only one church, the universal church.
The church that we worked with was Larco Church in Trajillo.
It's nothing like America, like you walk down the streets and most of them are dirt or dust.
People come into the towns, and to the poor towns especially, and make promises to the people there and then not fulfill those promises when they're elected into office. And so they've kind of seen a repeated pattern of promises not being fulfilled.
The economy has developed a lot, but still there are very strong contrast between some very poor areas and also other wealthy areas.
We worked with Pastor Gerardo, which is the pastor at Larco Church, Pastor Castro's brother. And we worked a lot with him. He started the church there, Larco Church, that we worked with.
They're surrounded by a lot of different communities, a lot of impoverished communities. It's still small in size, it's 40 members. And so having a team of 6 students and a leader coming in just brings a lot of life and energy.
We mainly just helped the church out and did whatever they needed us to do.
One of the main things that we did was to go and meet children in the community. We just walked through the streets, walked with some of the leaders and some of the church leaders in that community, and just got to know kids, talked to them, ask them their names, ask them what they're doing that weekend, if they could come to Vacation Bible School. It's not a place where you run a commercial or a radio advertisement and expect people to hear it. It's really going into the community and meeting them face to face.
It was just amazing to see how happy they were just to have someone paying attention to them, because their parents just don't really have the time to take care of them.
We didn't try to do something for ourselves, but we just joined the efforts of the national, reaching their own community.
So it was nice to kind of step out of my American shoes and step into some Peruvian ones and just see the world around me in a different way.
A couple of times we would go out and we would go to this place called Buenos Aires, and there's like a touristy Buenos Aires, and then there's like the outskirts where we went, where like no one really cares about the people there because they're really, really poor and they're right on the coast, and sometimes the water will come like destroy their homes and they live in constant fear of that.
They would tell us about how they didn't have food the last night, how they collect cans. A 12-year-old boy collects cans all night long and is afraid for someone's gonna mess with them if he's gonna have enough money to come back with his family. Another girl would tell us how she's afraid to go to sleep at night because the ocean is right next to their community and many times comes up over the embankment and comes into their home, and one night she woke up and was surrounded by water.
People kind of just like leave them and they like just forget about them there, but we went there and told their kids that we were gonna have a VBS.
You'd see a mother walking around that would have a crippled leg, but yet she was bringing her children to the Vacation Bible School, and so thankful and excited we were doing that. And yet you see a physical struggle in her life that would seem to rob joy from her, yet she was so joyful to have people sharing Christ with her children.
There was this little boy named Masi, and he was making fun of us because we were white and didn't know Spanish, and we invited him to a Bible school we were having.
Come 2 days later, he was one of the first children there at the school, and he was the last one to want to leave.
And it's just things like that that make going so worth it. There was a woman that we met one of our first days there. We called her Abuelita. She was just a little old lady. She walked with a cane. She was all by herself. And she was one of the happiest people I've ever met. She was smiling and singing along with our children's Bible school songs.
Like, we can't even speak their language sometimes, and they're still so grateful. They just, like us to be there, and just the fact that we came to help them out just meant a lot to them, even though they impacted us even more than we could have impacted them.
It's been really challenging and encouraging to me to think about wanting to dabble into what Christ has called me to.
I think if we join them to learn and to work beside them and with a servant heart, I think God will open many, many doors. So I encourage people to just to seeing how providentially God is opening doors in your life, in the different places that you are. Never take for granted things and think that your limitations are something impossible to overcome, because by the grace and the mercy of God we can do it.